Hello, my name's Chris, this is Blue Kraken Gaming, and welcome back to Satisfactory, where we're doing a live stream, which has caught me by surprise. Trying to do my usual opening there. So, we're doing the world tour today, which I hope you're all looking forward to. So this is going to be giving us an update on basically what we've been getting up to up until now. So I am going to pick this up from where we were doing the episode 100 world tour. So if you do want to see everything that happened in the first 100 episodes, do go back and watch that live stream. But otherwise, we're going to pick up today. So at the end of that one, we were basically here at this factory where we were looking to try and build computers and the like. And it's got a bit bigger since then. So, evening Shane, how are you? So, under here, and I've got to have the torch on because I've not put any lights in here. Now we're in update 8. But we had these assemblers here making circuit boards, and I expanded this out a little bit recently. Yeah, I know, I can't believe it. Episode 200 already. It's really snuck round. Technically, I know this is coming out before episode 198 and 199, but it felt kind of appropriate with it. So, yeah, I'm just going to get on with that. So, with this, yeah, like I say, we have this outputting all of the circuit boards. However, we are having plastic problems. That's all being fed through here into making our computers, which we are overclocking and sending off elsewhere. This factory is also working on crystal oscillators. We've got 8 assemblers working on these, and these are all working at 100% efficiency, which is nice. And then these ones over here are producing our heavy modular frames, again at 100%. So we've not got a huge number of them, but they are being made at enough to keep us going. Now, all of this gubbins up here is being used to help feed a lot of the other bits and pieces. So like the encased industrial beams are for the heavy modular frames. We've got a load of screws being done, and all of this is being done on the roof. Now, the steel is being trained in. The modular frames and the rubber, I think, are also being trained in. From our train stations over there, we've got drones taking out crystal oscillators. What's this one taking out? That's taking out our heavy modular frames. We've got another one over here taking out circuit boards for our AI limiter factory, which we're going to get to later. And we've got yeah, the concrete. The concrete, I'm actually going to follow that line back. So most of this is being trained in from other factories that we've already seen. However, the concrete is coming in from our concrete facility over there, which we've built between episode 1 and 200. So let's head over there, seeing as we're in this kind of part of the world. So our concrete facility is basically this big building here that is dedicated to making just that. I did try and make moving arrows. I mean, other than the fact they're going the wrong way, I think that looks quite effective. And I was playing with like LED lights and stuff to see how that looks. And we've basically got a train that sits here, and this is our concrete train. And it is full of concrete. And these bins are full of concrete. So if we're ever building anything, we can slap down a train station, call in the concrete train, and we'll have all the concrete we need to build stuff. Evening Gaming Roblox. Yes, I do have a Discord. There is a link in the description of, if not the stream, one of the regular episodes. But yes, there is a Discord. I can't remember what the name is of it at the moment. And while I'm running, I don't have any way of setting up and basically posting the Discord link at the same time. But yes, there is one, and all the notifications go out there. So either way, just jumping back here, this is our concrete facility. It is pulling in from 3 limestone nodes that are over there. So you can just see them in the distance. If I zoom in a little bit. So you've got 1 there, 2 there. Okay, it's only 2 limestone nodes. I must have originally planned to do 3, but yep, we've got 2, and they're being fed in. We've got all the water. That all comes into this glass box, which we blueprinted these walls, and I really quite like them. I think we've still got the blueprint for it. somewhere. Ah, aesthetics, there we go. So we've got striped wall, glass cross wall. Yeah, there you go. Really like them. So we blueprinted those, and we've just got a ton of refineries making wet concrete to really maximise that. So I actually quite like this one as a facility. I think it looks quite nice. We just don't have a need to come out here very often. We tried some slits in the ceiling for the train station, which is kind of nice. I like that. But yeah, that's kind of the gubbins we did around here. That's kind of about it in this neck of the world. We've done some work over with the aluminium facility, which we'll go and have a look at in a second. And roadblocks, I cannot remember what nodes they are, so I'm just going to go over and have a look for you. So we've got one normal limestone there, which is fully overclocked. And over here, another normal limestone, again fully overclocked with Mark II miners. So I could upgrade those because we've got the Mark IIIs now. But as that's producing more than enough concrete for our needs, I've never found a need to expand that. That's just making huge amounts for us. Just coming under here, we've got the aluminium facility. Now, what we have done, the main things we've been doing with the aluminium facility are some of the outputs. So we've got a drone station here now to ship out a load of aluminium cases for what was that one doing? I think that's doing our fused frames. The only other thing we've done inside the aluminium facility is we've done a few random tweaks since last time to make sure it works a bit more efficiently, which we have. Oh, we've got an amber light. Why did we have an amber light? Are we having water problems again? The only other bit we've done is up here we grabbed a little bit of an overflow. It's not even an overflow, we just split some of the aluminium bars off to make empty fluid tanks, because elsewhere in the world, and we're droning those, elsewhere in the world we are bottling nitrogen. So that's where we're just making our bottles for it. And yeah, I like the outside of that factory as well. So do you prefer gaming Roblox or Roblox, or what's easier on that one? Let me know. But either way, so that's all we did with the aluminium facility. Now, everything else over there is pretty much untouched. I think the last thing we did there was actually in our last live stream. We put a load of batteries in, because over there is one of our oil facilities. Whoa. Where we're using a lot of the resources to make spare power. So that's all still just ticking over. We haven't made any changes to that. So I'm going to move on. Right. And we're going to head back to the hub. Because, actually, no, we're not going to go to the hub. We're going to go to where we're getting basically all of our power from at the moment, which is Spire Coast Power. And thank you for that, gaming. That's easier to know. Yeah, we're going to go to the Spire Coast Power Facility, which we did build in this this block of 100. I did build a lot of it, I will admit, off camera. And the reason for that, it was very repetitive. Once I'd shown like the first couple of levels, it became it was just the same thing over and over again, and I didn't want to fill you guys with episodes on that. How is the sound balance for you guys? Purely because the game volume's coming through quite loud in my headset, and I don't want to turn it down if it's okay for you guys on the balance, because it's really weird trying to get the balance with how it comes through to me with how it comes through to you. But again, we're just going to come up here on the long way. You can see Spire Coast Power from here already. It is that monolith over there. The only other thing I'll make mention of as we're driving past is there is a... I don't think we're going to be able to get a good view of it from here. There's a couple of drone ports down there you can just see. because there's a cave with a quartz node we're just shipping raw quartz out of, which again we will make use of that in a bit. We also did a huge amount of work on our rail network to try and sort out all the stops and the, how do I describe it, the traffic jams, because that is the only way to describe what was going on. We had huge amounts of traffic jams that used to go on with all of our trains here, and we did an awful lot of work on getting that straightened out. Now it has been working for the last 20, 30 episodes. Evening, Andrew. Glad that you made it, and I'm really glad to hear that the game volume's fine for you guys compared to my voice, because, like I say, it's quite loud in my headphones. But yeah, so the rail network, touching wood, has been really good since. We've not had any jams at all. But this beast is Spire Coast power, and this is what we are using pretty much all of the oil over here. It is using all but 3 of the oil nodes in the whole of the Spire Coast, and the primary idea behind this was to make power. And I can see red lights up there. Why do I have red lights up there? I don't like that. I'm going to go and check that. Yeah, so this is basically producing all of our power because it's using a huge amount of the oil. As you can see, it is half decorated on the front. Come on. Get upstairs. I really want to see. What was that red? Look, there's a red light. Why is there a red light? Are you struggling to get fuel? You are. Ooh, okay. That means we might have to come back and have a look and try and fix these. Or, actually, let's try and quickly fix this now with a fix that was given to me by one of the viewers. That was basically just loop it around here. Gaming, when you're saying fluid transport stations, do you mean like train lines using the fluid cars? Because if so, the answer is no. Everything is done transporting as a solid. Right, let's just do this because this was a workaround I was given. Because apparently they can have problems with it being an end stop, so the suggestion was to give me it to put it through as a closed loop to keep all of the pipes filled. Right, well that hopefully will behave a bit better now. Right, anyway, let's take you guys down way back to the floor so you can see what we're up to with this. So, I apologise for it being dark. This was all built when we were in update 7, so I didn't have global illumination on, although actually I'm wondering. For the purposes of this, I might just turn it off. I don't know that's made it much better. Right, okay. No, I'm not transporting fluids. I am transporting some gases. But I have a bottling plant for that. Right, okay. So what we're doing is we are bringing the raw oil up. Ignore all of this. We're going to cover that in a bit. I'm bringing the raw oil up here, and they're all being fed into these 3 rows of refineries that are purposely making heavy oil residue and polymer resin. Now the polymer resin, why do I have... Oh, because you can't get rid of any. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. I don't mind if it's backed up there. Right, the polymer resin is shipped off to those refineries in front of us, just over here, to be mixed with water to turn all of that into plastic. I did originally do too many, so I did rip a load up, which is why there's a load of random infrastructure left here. But effectively, yeah, these are turning the resin with the water into plastic and shipping it off there for us to use elsewhere. So we've got 2 rows of those. What the heavy oil residue is doing is that is coming upstairs with the water into this nest here. So I've got some water buffers and then the heavy oil residue, and that's just feeding into all these blenders, and all these blenders are making fuel. So they are all taking the water and the oil, the heavy oil residue, and they're turning it all into fuel, which is then fed into these industrial buffers at the back here. And then these industrial buffers, if I come outside, go up to the various different floors where we've got all of the fuel generators, and they're all laid out in exactly the same way. They are 5 rows of 10, all backed up to burn all of that. And I think we've got like 8 floors. So it's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8 floors just full of fuel generators. So that's what, 8 times, that's 400 fuel generators just wrapping through on that. Right, and good luck with the vehicular transport gaming. I can see 94 rotors and 400 iron rods. That's, I'm going to say that's not too bad, but depending how early you are in the game, 400 rods is kind of okay, but the rotors can be a nightmare. Okay, so the other bits and pieces we are going to address over here. When we originally built this power plant, one of the nodes basically turned out to be a pure node when I thought it was a normal node. So we wound up with a load of extra oil that I wasn't expecting. So what we wound up doing with that overflow was a little loop here, which we've repeated on the other side, and I'll cover that in a second, where we feed the raw oil in to make rubber and heavy oil residue. The heavy oil residue comes in here to be made into residual fuel. The residual fuel and the rubber from the first bank are then put in here to make recycled plastic, because plastic is where we are short. So basically all of this is to try and maximize, and this is, it's a very backwards way of doing it, because the obvious easy way as well, I'll take the oil and make plastic, but this actually gives us the most plastic per oil with a random bit of rubber left over if I need it. So we are doing that to maximize our plastic, and at the other end, and this is what anyone that saw last night's episode will have seen me start doing, and I finish in Monday's episode in 198, is actually basically a repeat of that setup, but dealing with the oil nodes that are all the way over on that side of the Spire coast. So this time I've played with a couple of the pylons to give us some update 8ness. So we've got the pylons to take the power over there. And then these just all get fed with the oil, and again it does the same thing. We make the heavy oil residue and the rubber, and we take the oil residue, make fuel, and then over here we mix the oil and the rubber to make the plastic. Now at the moment this is currently set to just go into an awesome sink. I am going to be running that over to the train station, and that's going to be in the next couple of episodes or so. But this is just running to flush it through and make sure that it is behaving and I've not got any processing issues, which I don't at the moment. It took a while to fire up. It's all going good. The only thing that I have had to do with this is, because I'm actually producing more rubber than I need, I am having to sink the spare rubber to avoid any kind of backflow, which is a bit of a shame, but ho-hum, that's where we are. So yeah, that is Spire Coast Power, and that is producing basically all of the power we need in the whole game. I think it's producing more than all of the other power plants combined. Yeah, I still find it breathtaking to look at, Andrew, and I'm not going to lie, I'm putting off finishing the exterior because it is just daunting almost. I have played with this LED light. I've made it look, you know, nice and yellow. But yeah, I'm just putting that off because I find that quite daunting, if I'm completely honest. Okay, oh wow, so you've got a smart plating factory gaming. That's good. That's going to be useful. I have taken mine apart, and I'm going to need to do that for doing the final space elevator parts, because I'm going to need smart plating again. But yeah, that's Spire Coast Power for us at the moment, which is, I kind of like that. So, next step, and we're going to want to get going quickly, is going to be, no, not steel production, steel imports, because I'm going to want to go back to the hub, because we did quite a lot to the hub between episode 1 and 200. So, evening TNTV, screw factory 80 per minute before and after the factory. So, gaming, you're making 120 screws per minute. I'm going to say you're going to be quite early in the game if you're making 120 screws per minute, because we're going to come across a couple of screw floors I've got in a factory that we're going to get to in a moment, which is part of the hub, which is yeah. So the hub is where I've put or the Nexus, I'm calling it. The Nexus is where I've put the hub, and it is where all of our trains come into to drop off resources. It is where they then get shipped out if they're going to another factory. And we did an awful lot of the Nexus building in the first 100 episodes. I mean, we've expanded on it a little bit in these ones, particularly since we've got drones, but we did the vast majority of it in the first 100 episodes. Now, this is what I mean. The trains, they can be a little bit slow. I do get queues, but they don't stop. We haven't had any jams again, which is great, and I'm really pleased with. So, this is going to pull us in. One of the bits we did do is we used to have the exit coming straight onto this line. Now you can see it gets fed underneath, and that's really helped with the flow of the trains, so we don't have to have those trying to get in stopping, waiting for those trying to get out. So we're just going to drop this off, and then we're going to have a look at the hub. So I think from memory, with before episode 100, the hub still had our original iron factory in it. Oh, thank you for the sub, gaming. That's really helpful. Slowly getting up to the 600 or the 500 level there. Right, okay, so here is where we've got our hub. This was here before, but it was before just a floating, like, room for us to look out on. Now it actually steps out onto our modular frame factory, because, oh boy, all of this is used to make modular frames, because we were trying to make heavy modular frames all the way back over at the factory we started the episode at, and we weren't making enough modular frames. So I built this entire factory to make modular frames. So what this is doing is this is taking all of the iron nodes that are in this starting location that I had. You can see I've got a few random boxes where things are still there. Oh, didn't notice they clipped in the water like that. I might want to try and fix that later. But it takes all of these nodes that are all pure nodes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pure iron nodes that we've got going on here. So all of these are being fed. Is it 6? Oh no, it must be 5. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, because that one just goes over there. Yeah, so we've got 6. It's the same setup. So 5 of them come over in this direction onto this logistics floor, which all just feed up into these smelters. Now, if I wanted to be super efficient, I could be using foundries and using the pure ironing recipe. So instead of being a 1-for-1, it'd be like a 3-to-1. But, you know, I think this is producing quite enough iron for me. So all of these are basically just blocked to maximize. So each of these banks, and this one's completely unused at the moment, I haven't found a use for it, but each of these banks that all feed out on this line here are basically completely using a single set of the fully overclocked iron nodes with the tier 3 miner. Now what that's then doing is we come up to this floor, and gaming, this is where I was talking about. This is this half of the floor is doing screws. So we've got what, 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 banks there, all making iron screws, which are just rattling through. Now we could have used the steel screw recipe, but because I had the iron on site, I've just used the straight iron screws. But this is the nice alternate recipe, so I don't have to go ingot, into rod, into screw, I can just go straight from ingot to screw. So much more efficient on power and everything else, being able to rattle all of that out. So yeah, we're making a lot of screws per minute, and you can see them all whirring up. Now, what this bank over here of assemblers are doing is they are making a ton of iron plates for us. So they will then get fed up onto this floor. So we've then got all the iron plates, and we've got the screws. So we've got another bank here just making more iron plates, because downstairs wasn't making enough alone. But all of these are being fed into these assemblers to make reinforced plates. How many screws am I getting from here? Let's have a look. So we've got... So we've got 15 in a row. So we've got 15 times 4 rows. So we've got 60 constructors. And each of those is making 55 screws. So we're making 3,300 screws a minute. Oh no, 50. Sorry. $3,000 screws a minute on this floor. Does that help with your maths? Roblox gaming. So, yeah, those are all being turned into the reinforced iron plates. So we have got, what, 12? So that's 12 times 15. So we're making 180 iron plates a minute, reinforced iron plates a minute. They are all then being fed over here upstairs. I'm just making sure I've not missed anything else on this floor. Nope. So these are all then being fed upstairs. Which, what are we doing? We're making more screws on this floor. And it's the same deal. So we've got 12 rows of 12 this time. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because all of these. So that's then 6 times 12 times 50. So this floor's making 3,600 screws a minute. And what is going on with all of these screws is... Oh, me losing the power on my jetpack here. Hover pack. So they come upstairs with all those reinforced iron plates that were being made on the floor below to make the modular frames. Which, seeing as gaming you're interested in the math, we've got 6 times 4. So that's what, 24 times 5? 120. So all of this is to make 120 modular frames a minute. And there we go. So that's what this is up to. And that basically all just climbed and has bolted onto the side of where we've got our storage area. And yeah, it's just, yeah, whirring away. Now, out the back of the storage area, and you'll see it down here, we've got a... hang on. Gaming, I have something. Do you have alternate iron ingots recipes? I do. I have the alternate ingots recipe for pure. I just didn't want to draw all the water up to use them, which is why I'm using the normal ingot recipe. Yeah, screws are a nightmare. But, you know, I'm just mass producing them. So, anyway, copper node. We have a single pure copper node down there, which, again, is being fed all the way over here because we were not making enough copper sheets. So, whoa, oh, blast, there's no power there. Okay, this could be fun. At least I've got a jetpack on me today. Because we want to head over this way. So, that is that line that's running all that copper. And what that is doing is that is coming over here to our new copper facility. Which... Okay, bye gaming. Right, okay, so here is our copper facility that we built to make copper sheets. And this is just using the pure copper recipe with water to maximize our copper ingots. We are making tons of copper, like a huge amount. And this time I tried ceiling mounting the water. So they all feed the floor above, and they're just ceiling mounted instead of just being fed up from the ground. We're then steaming those ingots with water to make a huge amount of copper sheets, which I think we are sinking. Yeah, so we've got a load being sunk over there, because this is all just, yeah, backed up. But yeah, this was quite a build, and I'm still quite impressed with how it looks. Like, that is a lot of refineries. We do need to box it in, and that is going to be a recurring theme for everything we go over today. I basically just need to box in and fill in the platforms and the factories, because they are all just floating platforms, all these later ones, because I've just been working through trying to get the more advanced things. But yeah, really proud with how that's working out. And then we've got the drone port part of our Nexus hub, where we've got all the original trains coming through here, and then the newer stuff is being brought in by drones to avoid overloading the train network. So we have this one over here is bringing in the batteries, and that is then feeding everything else. And everything else is then just being, you know, flown in. So that's full of batteries. Where are you? You don't actually have anything. What are you trying to do? Oh, hub battery receive. Okay, so you're the one bringing the batteries in. You're bringing in crystal oscillators, but you're full. You're bringing in fused modular frames, but you're full. So you can see we've got a bit of slow movement here, because I'm not actually sinking any of these resources, which I arguably should be. Once I've stored them, I should be sinking them for points. But yeah, we've got the drones going on there. Now, the only other thing we've got going on at the hub, which is new, is some of the more recent things that we've had going on. Which are over here, where we're looking at our newest items. So over here, we are making our electronic control rods. So we're bringing in a load of wire, a load of steel pipes, which we have done some upgrading on to mass produce our steel pipes, and we're going to be probably finishing the live stream over there. But yeah, so we are then making our stators on site that are being fed through around here, which are then being blended with the AI limiters to make our electronic control rods, which we do actually now have more than enough to complete our particle enrichment. So secret call out and sneak peek for anyone still here. Yes, once we cross episode 200 and we start getting into like the actual episodes after this, I'm going to be looking at nuclear power, because we're ready for it. Maybe. Here is where we are unbottling some of the nitrogen we made, because autosave. Any questions while the autosave's going off? Okay. Oh, wow, that is taking a while. I always forget how long the autosaves are now. Right. Ooh. Okay. So yes, here we are. We're unbottling the nitrogen. And that is because we are making turbo motors over here. So we're bringing in copper and aluminium sheets. We are then making a nice healthy chunk of heat sinks, which are being fed over here into these to make the cooling systems. I think that's still just winding up on the manifold, which is why that's not quite backed up. But we are producing more heat sinks than we actually need, so that should start backing up. But yeah, so we've got our cooling systems, which are then being fed around here and coming in here to make our turbo motors, of which we are making just under 4 a minute. Because yay, these top end things need tons of components and they make very few of them. But either way, we have more than enough turbo motors now, like I say, to get our particle enrichment going, and I'm hoping build a lot more stuff. Now, one thing I will say is that this pipe work here is horribly messy. So we've got one going underneath, and then the other two are just going out and around. Now, the reason for that, you can see there's a floor hole there and there, because these were originally all fed through, all going through a single pipe, and then coming up to basically join, because you can again see the floor hole there, into each of these. But for whatever reason, there were massive flow issues where it just would not play ball. And basically, 2 of the blenders were being starved for nitrogen. However, each having its own independent line, them carrying more than enough nitrogen, it is not getting stuck at all because they're now up to 100% efficiency. So I've not changed how much nitrogen we're getting at all. It's just flowing better in 3 separate pipes going straight in instead of doing a 1-to-1. Now this unbottling plant does recycle because it sends the empty bottles back into the drone for the drone to then fly back over to where we are bottling it, which is then fed through to be reused. So it's nice and self-contained, and I kind of like how I've got that going on. We have got overflows set up, so it will all go into an awesome sink when it is full. But yeah, let's go over and have a look at our new aluminium and our new aluminium plant and the bottling plants, because they are over this way. But I can't really take a train because they are off the rail network, so we are going to have to just run over there, for the lack of a better description. Yeah, I am a bit worried about nuclear, Andrew. I'm not going to lie, it does worry me with the sheer volume of maths that I'm going to have to try and work my head around with it. Yeah, someone did comment, I can't remember who it was, Shane, but someone referenced in one of the comments, it might actually even have been Andrew, that in update 8 there is a problem with the fluid and gas dynamics where it just does not want to like completely play ball, particularly with floor holes and sometimes where the corners are too tight. So yeah, I think there's still a few bits to try and work through. Oh, I hear a cat. You can hear them. I can hear them mewling. I don't know where it is. Right, okay, so we're just following these power lines. Radiation level, that's all new. There wasn't radiation over here this much. Okay, so here is our new aluminium plant. So we've got bauxite, so we've got a pure node up there. That one's a normal node. I've then got two more normal nodes that are all joining together, which then bring me 3 lines of bauxite. Now I've built it here because I've got a water pressurizer here, so I've got all the water I need, and this is our aluminium factory. Oh, there's been another update this week. Oh, okay. That's interesting. It didn't ask me to download and patch anything before I started running this today. Right, okay, so I need to take these off because someone did actually comment that, and ow! Ow! Like, what actually is shooting me there? There you go, a little bit of impromptu combat for you guys. Be gone, you. Right, okay. Yes, it was commented that these valves I had, someone believed were actually causing the issue, or part of one of the issues I was having with this, because I didn't actually have them on the other ones. Right, okay. Where were we? Oh yes, all the bauxite. So this is all coming in here to make aluminium. However, unlike the... What the hell are you doing up here? Ow. Right, okay, he's dead. Right, yes, unlike the other aluminium factory, what I'm doing with these is I'm actually using the normal recipes. So you're doing as normal, using the alumina solution. You are using coal. No, that is normal. It's upstairs, actually. I'm using the silica outputs and whatnots. So I've got the aluminium scrap and water. Oh, that was it. Yes, I could have used, yeah, the normal alumina solution, and I'd have got silica out of it. However, it's actually less efficient on the maths with the bauxite against Yeah. Recent update, creatures respawning around factories. Yeah, that's very true. Yes, so the sloppy one's actually more efficient with the bauxite. So you get more alumina solution per bauxite if you use the sloppy version instead of the normal one when you get silica out, which is why I'm using that. This then all comes through. We then make use of the scrap. Arguably, this would have been better if I had used the... Oh, what's it called? Petroleum coke. But I didn't have a good way of getting it over here. So this is all the scrap just being fed up in these 5 belts. And everything else upstairs now starts working in banks of 5. So here on this floor is where we are shipping in all that silica that I mentioned as we drove past on the train, where we're shipping it out of that cave. It's literally just a couple of mines and it flies it straight over here. We are also using some silica from over there, which we'll sort of drive past, but it's just being belted all the way along. It's nothing fancy. And all this quartz is being used to make silica that we can then use upstairs. Yeah, you're making even more silica. This is what I mean, how much silica we've got. You can hear the drones upstairs. So there you go. There's all the drones, bringing all the batteries through. So this is basically a silica floor. And this is the logistics floor for the foundries upstairs. Now, the aluminium scrap is in these 5 banks that you can see coming through, and they just go off in all their various directions. And I have to admit, I love that view. That just looks really pleasing to me, just seeing all those 5 belts just full and flooding. Now, with the silica, because I didn't have a clever way of doing any balancing, we've actually got an injector system. So what we've got is we've got one of our banks of silica being fed in here, which comes up and round, and that is just going into a smart splitter. So, straight on is just being filled, and when that overflows, it runs along here, where it has a merger on, which feeds in the next bank to inject, which again does the same thing. So we then feed it all through until there's an overflow, which comes through. We inject the next block, so on and so forth. So that all that silica is being used. It's just being injected instead of me having to work out the specific balancing. It just gets injected and overflowed onto the next one. Now, like I say, it's probably not 100% efficient, but it is working to keep the scrap 100% efficient, and that's what I'm more worried about, because the silica, well, that can back up, because that's not going to stop anything working. If the aluminium backs up, then we wind up with a situation where we either are or are not producing enough water, which has a massive knock-on effect. But again, all of these coming into the foundries, and this time we're using the normal aluminium ingot instead of the smelter to use the pure ingot. So again, we're maximising the amount of aluminium we're getting per piece of scrap. And again, you can see we've got the drones floating around there. This is a pretty empty logistics floor, because all it is doing is just bringing the aluminium ingots around. It is also feeding some down, which get fed over there into that drone port. So we're putting aluminium casings in there. And yeah, up here we are just making aluminium casings. Now these ones are being sunk because I haven't got anything to do with them. But yeah, they can be there ready to go should we need them for anything. But yeah, so that is this aluminium facility going, and you can again see our starting bauxite node over there. So yeah, I like this one. This is one of those factories that I've come into where I've got the mentality of I need to do one that's 100%. That's basically like set to use tier 3 miners and fully overclocked, which I'm pretty sure it is. But I like it. Next bit we've got over in this wing. Alley whoop. Dropping down. Is we've got our nitrogen bottling plant. Now, with this, I heard that. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, with this, I don't know whether I'd fully planned this out. No, in fact, I hadn't fully planned this out before I came into it. And I'm sure some of the maths, in fact, I know some of the maths is actually wrong with this, and we can be producing an awful lot more nitrogen than we are. But effectively, we've got one nitrogen extractor here, or the well pressurizer, which we've got fully overclocked, which means each of these is throwing out 300 nitrogen a minute. Which means I only actually need 2 of these to feed that bank, but I've got 4 feeding each bank. Oh no, that one's only got 2. That one's right. So that side's correct. This side's got additional ones that it doesn't need. But what it does is it feeds the nitrogen in and it bottles them. Did that node move? By Jove, I think you're right, because that is definitely not a node under there. Is that one now? Where is it? Yeah, they moved it. They've moved it up the hill. Lovely. Okay. So that's an update 7 to 8-bit. But I know one of the weird bits is this all still functions because the game reads that as being plugged in. Like you can see it's got the tick next to it. So it's basically got an invisible line to it. So it works, and I'm not going to move it. But if I do ever delete that, I'm going to need to shuffle the whole thing over there, which is going to be a pain. Right, okay. So yeah, we're basically bottling it all, but this is where it then comes out. So you've got packaged nitrogen gas that goes out, but coming in on the same drone. Ooh, that's concerning. I'm out of bottles. Okay. I thought I had this set up nicely. Right, okay, well we can fix that temporarily. Right, this port. Right, all ports. Let's go with liquid bottle out needs to come here, because then we can just put some more bottles in the system. So so this drone has got bottles in it, so it is going to drop a load of bottles off, which will start it going. It's just, yeah, I'd rather have some bottles in store, like empty bottles in storage. So we should hopefully see one coming over. Right, yeah, see that one's now outputting. And there go our empty bottles to fire everything else up. Right, okay. We will check on that on our way back. But, so this is where we're basically bottling all of our nitrogen. I am going to grab that purple slug while I'm here, because that feels daft not to, considering how easy it would be to grab. Right. Okay, so I haven't seen that drone coming in with the empty bottles from the aluminium plant yet. Should be able to see it on the map, if nothing else. Right, that's that. And you should be coming from over here. That's circuit boards. Yeah, liquid bottle out. So that's where the drone should be coming from. Oh, unless I don't think I actually put that one as a. I don't think I put a drone on that port. Oh well. Okay. Well, I can sort that out later if I need to. Right. Okay. Anyway, what we are doing with some of the nitrogen is we are feeding it over in this direction. And you can see those 2 quartz miners up there. They're what's feeding our our aluminium. Right, this is some of where the aluminium casings are going. So I will admit, I was massively overambitious. Not overambitious. I overthought how big this was going to be when I built it. So we've got a huge platform here, and inside we've got basically the logistics where we're bringing in everything we need to make fused frames. So, where did I put the door? There's the door. Okay. So here we've got drone ports. One of them's bringing in batteries, and the others are bringing in heavy modular frames, aluminium casings, and you are sending out fused modular frames. So this is our fused modular frame factory, and it is way bigger than it needs to be. But effectively, we've just got these blenders here, 2 banks of them. I'm going to say fully set up. Why are you guys yellow? What are you missing? Aluminium casings. Okay, well, we'll need to try and sort that out then, considering we're making tons of them. But yeah, so this is where we're making our fused modular frames for everything that we need. I say I need to get that fixed. I might not need to, because, you know, we've got a backlog of them at the moment, and I'm not sure what to use them for. And I'm not Kibitz. Although, has anyone else seen Kibitz's last, and I say his last Satisfactory video? Because he's now finished it, which I'm impressed. There's no two ways around it. And I hope to get there. I'm going to say one day. I feel like it's doable now. I feel like we're close enough. I might not be able to do it as quickly as he did, where he was just able to, like, dump tons of stuff. But I think we're going to get there. But yeah, that's kind of everything over here in this wing of the world. And yeah, they've definitely moved that node, and I suppose I could just move the node and the outputs, and it's only the piping I'd need to possibly move, but it's going to look a little weird. But yeah, so now we're going to start heading back. And it bothers me that I found like little inefficiencies where I've come and I've checked, and there have just been things not working quite as well as I was hoping they would. But either way, yeah, we're going to start heading back now. And this is where, when I did the actual episode 100, the original world tour, these were the bits I was cutting out. So this is where I'm doing a live stream this time. I'm relying on you, Chad, a little bit to go, what would you like to ask me? What questions do you have while we're doing this? But I think most of you that have watched this or are watching this have pretty much kept up with the series. So it's going to be, yeah, just working our way back. But yeah, nuclear is the next thing I do. And I'm doing that not because I need to, because I've clearly got enough power at the moment. I'm doing that purely because I want to give it a go and see how it behaves. But after that, it is going to be working on getting those final space elevator parts put together. Now, when we've got them all done, I'm not going to be doing them to the insane levels Kivitz did. So it might be a case of that we get them all built, and then I've just got to leave the game running for a bit before we can plug them all in. Because I'm not going to make you do that. Right, let's have a look. I need to go to Station 33 for the next one. Andrew, have I tried any of the new fuels in the jetpack? No, I haven't. In regards to automating liquid packaged biofuel, yes, I would like to try and do that. What I'd like to try and do is set up some kind of loop of belts and splitters and everything, where I can effectively dump a load of organic materials in a box in the Nexus, and then that will go off and turn all the animal remains into DNA points. It will turn any plant matter into liquid biofuel, and then just put it all back into various storage points. I'd like to try and do that, but I don't know where to try and do that, as it were. And what I mean by that is I don't know where to fit that in the structure of the series. Like, I want to do nuclear next, but it's like, well, that's going to feel a little bit odd in the middle of a nuclear build doing a bio build. So it's just trying to figure out where to fit that in. But yes, that is something I do have a want to try and do, because I don't use the jetpack really for huge traversal. So for me, the biofuel version, where it just lasts longer, I think is going to be the preferred fuel I'll wind up using, because I'm not using it for speed or combat or to try and get around things. I just need it to last and let me get around the map. But Andrew, have you tried any of the other fuel types yet? How have you found them working or not working, as the case may be? Right, okay, so the next bit we're going to go over is our supercomputer factory, which was built off of a single what is it? Not quick-wire, Caterium node. So zipping down here. Here we have a couple of stations. I didn't need 2 stations. I can't even remember if I'm actually using both of them. That's the thing now. I set this up a while ago and I do not know what the automation is up to. Right, come on. Right, cool. So, this is all started from that Caterium node there. Now, what that Caterium node is doing is not being a Mark III, but it is making a ton of pure Caterium, which is... Ooh, I've got some yellow lights. Are you short on Caterium ore, my friend? Did I plan this to be a 600 and I don't have 600? It is. It needs more ore. Well now. Is that something I can fix while I'm here? No. Mark III? No, because I don't have any of the stuff for it. Right, that's fine. But either way, here we are making a pure Caterium to maximise the amount of Caterium ingots we're getting out of our ore. This was also where I tried to consider trying to make a more walkable factory. So we have stairs. I mean, I know they descend into a pit for, you know, anyone that offends me at the moment. But we do have a stairwell, so we can actually climb the floors in this one instead of doing anything else. I did also try hiding the wires under poles like you saw below. And I think I took this one out because I needed to grab it to go somewhere. So this is just a holding floor because refineries are so goram tall. Right, okay. And then on this floor, we have Caterium ingots coming in here to make a metric ton of quick wire. We are also shipping in copper sheets and silica via drones to make these circuit boards, of which we're making a fair whack of them. The whole thing's backed up at the moment because of, you know, reasons. But they are then all coming over in this direction. Yeah, I have to admit, I've not noticed any problems since moving to update 8. The only thing I notice is sometimes with Mark V belts, and the quick wire's not doing it, is I notice sometimes what looks like a little bit of tearing on the belt with the image of the material that's on there, which I found a bit frustrating, but meh. Right, okay, yeah, so we are droning in silicon over for that side. For this side, where we've got the manufacturers, we're actually training silica in. And these manufacturers are all making high-speed connectors. I think they're all working pretty well. I don't think anyone is backed up. I mean, you don't have enough quick wire, that's fine. Yes, because again, this is all planned for that node to be maximised, and it's not. But either way, we then have an overflow for the high-speed connectors, so they'll go into that awesome sink. We are then bringing in... Ooh, plastic. We have plastic here. Yeah, we're bringing in plastic high-speed connectors, and what we are missing are computers. This is the slowdown we have for our supercomputer manufacturing. We don't have enough computers, so I do need to figure out what's going on with that back at the other facility but I did notice before I started live streaming, because I went over there to make sure everything was in place, and we were starting in the right place. They are almost getting enough plastic now to actually keep going there. Plastic is our problem, and like I say, that's part of the reason why we were in was it the Spire Coast Power, why I'm trying to produce so much plastic there, because that is what we're getting through. But either way, we have got supercomputers. That is completely full. We have got the overflow, which feeds those supercomputers into an awesome sink. So that's quite nice. So this is our supercomputer facility, and yeah, I do like it. Again, I need to put some walls on it, but it does do what it needs to, and yeah, I think we can do quite a bit with upgrading that. Now, the water we're getting all the way from basically the top of that waterfall, and the advantage of that is there are no pumps anywhere. This is all just running because the factory itself is under the actual water pipe, so we don't need the head pressure for it, which is nice. So the last thing we have that we've been working on recently is actually over at the steel factory. No, not steel imports, steel production, where we've been expanding that. I have to say, I do like how I've done this like sunken junction, so it can just go in either direction and just slip onto the slip road upstairs. I do like that. And whoop. Okay. Oh, so you're turning that way. That's going to hold me up. So it's really odd, because it feels like when I look at the like the number of things we did, like projects between episode 100 and 200, it feels like we had fewer projects than we did between episode 1 and episode 100. But I genuinely think that is a case of the scale, because where the series that I'm doing is a completely unedited series, you see basically pretty much everything that I do. It does mean that the projects are bigger and they take more episodes, even though it's now a single item for me to have run through with you guys. But yeah, this is going to be our final stop of the day, which is where we've been expanding the steel production, which is still over here in this crater. There we go. Just coming round now. And again, I need to sort out some of this floating platformness, because yeah. But again, all those aesthetics take time, and considering it's an unedited series, I've rather focused on the how to get things done as opposed to the how to make it look pretty. Which, you know, I hope you guys don't mind, but it is what I've been up to. So, here we have our steel production. And we now have a Mark III miner there, though that one's untouched, but this one's now a Mark III. Now, what we've had to do is we had to crack open our hotbox, which is why there's holes in it, and we had to expand it out. So you can kind of see where the original hotbox ended, because it was here at this wall, so this smelter wasn't here. We've added more smelters on this floor and more downstairs to expand and let us make more iron. Oh, and you guys aren't set up yet. Okay, those two aren't set up, but we don't seem to be having a problem. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to leave that for the moment. But yeah, so it was to allow us to make more iron ingots, because we're using the pure... Okay, that's a new one. Don't even have any. Okay. Yeah, that is definitely a new one. Did not expect to see you up there, because you were not there when I was working on this the other day. Right, okay. So, yes, we are using the alternate recipe for the solid steel ingot, where you take the iron ingot and the coal instead of iron ore and coal, to give us a more efficient use of coal and iron. It's just more efficient. Costs more power, but it's more efficient resource-wise, and you know, power's free basically. Now, what we've done is we've expanded that out and brought this all the way up here and made a load more steel ingots. So we've got another set of floors over here, so we can just really be pumping out all those pipes. Why are you missing ingots? Is this still the manifold just filling up? I do hope this is the manifold filling up. You guys are running. Was this end? You'd be the one that's not running. No, you're running at 100%. Okay, so I do hope that is just the manifold filling up, because I'm sure I did the maths and this is the correct amount. But yeah. Oh, that one is full. No, that's the power. That one's getting full. Yeah, so the manifold's got to about here at the moment. So yeah, I don't know if you can see it there. That's what I mean by that. Oh, it's a bit of a distance. Yeah, look, see, that's what I mean by that tearing. Oh, I wonder, is that... It's just testing here now. Is that this dithering that I saw? Where was it? Yeah, there you go. Enable LOD dithering. What happens if I turn that off? Yeah, it is. It's that LOD. Okay, either way, I can play with that later. But yeah, that's kind of the expansions that we've been doing and where we've got up to. So this is where we are so far. 200 episodes in. We are nearly there. We're capable of completing our last milestone, which is going to be a big thing for me. And then yeah, it's going to be playing with nuclear for a little bit and getting on with the final space elevator parts, which I really hope you guys are going to hang around and see me do, because I'm excited to try and do them, and I'm hoping you guys are still enjoying the series. I do very much appreciate all of the likes, all the comments, all the subscriptions. I love these kinds of interactions with you guys. So yeah, thank you very much all for joining me tonight. I appreciate it's only been just over an hour, but I haven't really got much more to cover off on this one. So yeah, thank you all very much for joining me today. I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you all next time.